just to check in. Not much to go over. Not a whole lot, but something funny happened at the gym today, man. It was kind of hilarious. So I rode like 2 clicks. Whoops, candy bar down. I rode like 2 clicks, and that was kind of like my warm up. You know, I usually run 2, but I didn't really feel like it today, so I kind of stayed away from that. And then I went into this other space. It's like my normal space where I always get set up and shit. And I get ready to do, you know, whatever kettlebell workout I could find, follow along with, you know, whatever one kind of speaks to me at the time, whenever I feel like it. But I'm warming up, I'm like stretching and shit. I'm doing like, you know, my regular little kind of fucking routine. And I had my back turned. And when I turn around, I had placed a mat down and shit, like a, you know, one of those yoga mats. And I had my phone propped up on the box like I normally do. Anyways, I turn around and there's this girl that's on my mat now. And then there's this old guy, you know, he's just kind of like shadowing her, you know, around her and shit. So I'm like, okay. And it just kind of took my spot. And I was going to say something, but I quickly realized that she had like some form of Down syndrome. So I didn't really have the heart to tell her, you know, that she couldn't. By the way, my nose is peeling real bad. I didn't have the heart to tell her, you know what I mean? Like, hey, that's my spot. Because you could tell she's just excited, you know, like their whole psyche, like people with Down syndrome, I think they're amazing, man. They're just amazing people. And not in like a funny way, you know. I think psychologically speaking, they have such a better mental approach than like 90% of human beings out there. Like it was almost like in her head, I can get in her mind for a second. It was almost like somebody rolled out the red carpet for her. Like, oh my God, somebody placed this mat here for me. They knew I was going to be here. You know, it's just like, it's like a world that they exist in of endless possibilities where there is no limitations. And it's like this pure joy that almost washes over them with very small things, you know, in life, but they take such joy and pleasure out of, you know, things that make them feel good, and they thoroughly embrace it. They embrace it to the point where, you know, I could truly feel it, you know. And all she was doing was just, you know, I don't know, she had like a whole list of things that she was going through, and it was just really cool to see. You know, it was just really cool to see, but I didn't want to rain on her parade. It was like I just picked up my shit. I picked up my shit and just bounced, even though that was my spot. I picked up my shit, I bounced, I just went to a different spot, you know what I mean? Which I ended up in it was like this walkway of the whole leg room. You know, it's leg room's got a bunch of machines, there's not much room. That's really the only one, it's like the only spot that exists where you're supposed to, you know, it's like a little free area, you know, and that's kind of like where I exist in most of the time. But I ended up, you know, doing my workout in like this walkway in the leg room, you know, with all these machines around me and shit. It was just kind of funny. But I was just watching her, man. She don't let anybody bother her. She was fucking going from one thing to another, and then she's through the leg machine. She's walking by me. You know what I mean? I just thought it was so cool to see, man. But yeah, pretty funny. Another cool thing. So the owner of the gym, her name is Dana. I think Dana and Sean, I think they own it together. But Dana stopped me the other day when I was going to the gym. She said she's like, we're gonna knock down that wall and we're gonna make a space of your own that you can only have. I just thought that was pretty funny. But again, super nice people. You know, one of the things that they do is they breed bulldogs, and they've had these puppy bulldogs around. They are the cutest fucking thing on the planet, man. Like, it really makes me want a fucking bulldog. Like, the most adorable fucking dogs that you'll ever see in your life. I love bulldogs. They got all the fat around their face that you can just play with, you know? But yeah, I feel good today. You know, I'm trying to take a little advice. Trying to take a little advice and just seek like peace and relaxation, you know, whenever I can. Whenever I'm kind of feeling anxious, you know, for any fucking reason, which there's really no reason for me to feel anxious, but sometimes it comes over me. You know, I'm a fucking human being. Like, I want to do more things. You know what I mean? I want to be more active. I have shit I have to do. You know what I mean? And I know that. I have shit that I have to do. And there's people preventing me from doing that and preventing me from moving on. But, you know, in those times when I do feel that kind of anxiety, you know, kind of wash over me, you know, or I'm just kind of like pacing back and forth, it's now what I'm starting to do is just kind of take in, you know, those little moments and just say, you know, how can I rest right now? How can I relax? How can I kind of wind myself down? And that's really what I'm trying to do right now. You know, I'm trying to wind down, and I'm doing only what I feel like doing at the time. You know, as far as creating these videos and stuff, and going over all these past things that I've done before and done in the past, I'm just taking it in doses. I'm taking it in doses so I can remain fresh and remain focused on what I have to do on a day-to-day basis, which is really just taking care of my mind, body, and soul, you know, one day at a time. One day at a time, and that's how I live my life, you know, day by day. I don't think too far in the future. I don't really give a shit right now. I'm just taking everything one day at a time. And I feel pretty good about it, you know. At least I've created a space now, back here, within this residence, that gives me a sense of peace. You know, it's clean, it's neat, I have everything the way that I fucking want it, you know. There's no disarray to it, there's organization, which is something that I need. And, yeah, I just enjoy that part of it. Try to enjoy the little things. I haven't been reading as much lately, you know. I will say that the book that I'm reading, it is, again, it's like I have to take that book in doses too, because there's a lot of suffering that exists within that book, man. It is, it's despicable, you know, it's despicable, and it is of a negative nature, you know, reading all that stuff. It's hard to read. It's hard to read, and it can almost overwhelm you a bit, you know, with the sadness that kind of washes over you when you read about some of these horrific things that were done to this human being. It's fucking truly disgusting. I think I read like 5 or 6 pages yesterday, and I'm like, fuck, man, I can't do this right now, you know, like I can't read this right now. So yeah, it's a wonderful book so far, but it truly is hard to get to. It's hard to get through, you know. There is such a good flow to it, though. The way that he writes is so brilliant. There's so much flow to it, but it's just hard. It's just hard to take in, man. I think, you know, taking in so much of that, it's just, it can be taxing on your soul to know that there was fucking human beings that treated other human beings less than because of their fucking skin color, and truly treat them like fucking animals. It, yeah, again, man, it just fucking really saddens me. It really fucking saddens me. Fucking also makes me angry. Makes me angry as fuck. And I know it's just a fucking book, but this was actually somebody's life. You know, this is shit that they experienced. And it's like, placing yourself in that person's shoes is it's terrible. You know, it's a terrible place for him to be in. For a lot of human beings, you know, to be in. Hungry, man. Fucking hungry. Got some sourdough pretzels. These things are fucking amazing, actually. But I think I kind of came up with a plan of attack, you know, as far as the videos that I'm creating now, as far as these things from the past. I think that's going to be like my side project, you know, and when I'm complete with it, then I'll release it. I don't know. There's part of me that just wants to kind of, you know, release it one at a time, but I'll see how it goes. But, you know, I was thinking today about doing that project, but I also want to create other videos that I really want to do, you know what I mean? On good topics, you know? I'm sure I could listen to Jadina and Megan and just fucking, you know, ideas will just come to me. You know, that's normally how it goes. It's just talking points, you know, topics of conversation, but me putting my own input on specific things and how I feel and think about them. You know, things that are good, you know, things that are helpful. And not necessarily, you know, exposure, you know, because exposure in these targeted videos that I'm doing, you know, it just, again, it's my obligation. It's not really what I want to do all the time. I don't know anybody who would, you know, want to dive in the past continuously over and over again. And again, I've already fucking done this shit. Shouldn't have to, but I'm doing it anyways. Fuck these people. You know what I was watching a little bit of, which I never have in the past, but that chick, what's her name? Danny Spiegel. Holy shit, man. She's a fucking beast and a half. Her thighs are like fucking tree trunks, man. I don't know if you guys have seen this fucking lady, but she's fucking no joke, bro. Like, it's crazy, like, the type of shit that she can do in the gym. It's phenomenal. Pretty motivating. You know, I was, before I went to the gym today, I was like, fuck, man. I just didn't feel it. You know, I didn't really feel like going. And that's why I always fucking ignore my feelings, you know? If I don't feel like going, I just fucking ignore my feelings. I don't give a, like, fuck your feelings. It's that type of approach to it. Especially with anything physical. It's like, I don't really give a shit. You just gotta tuck those feelings to the side. Say, fuck that. Going anyways. And take off. But before I did, I watched one of her videos and I'm, oh, okay, now I'm ready. Yeah, now I'm ready. Like, she's a fucking beast, dude. Like, she does massive amounts of weight. And I was watching her do a squat snatch with that fuck, dude. I don't know how much weight she had that she was throwing up like it was fucking nothing. But it's just impressive, man. She's an impressive human being, you know. So yeah, kind of drew some motivation from her today, which that's what she does. You know, she motivates you know, young women through her creations that she makes with the, you know, inspirational CrossFit videos and the workout videos and stuff like that, which is really cool. I think it probably inspires a lot of young women to show them, you know, that they can do shit like that, you know, because I think I didn't play it, but I saw like a transformation video, and you could see like before she had like fucking thighs, you know, like tree trunks as thighs, you know what I mean? There was a definite transformation. Like, she was a lot slimmer. You know, she was a lot slimmer. I'm sure she was training differently and stuff like that. But it does show you, you know, the alchemy involved in that, and, you know, the dedication that it takes to kind of transform your body in a specific way when you do it through that targeted training. You know, you change up your training regimen and your body's going to start changing. I mean, it's just the way it is. But it takes a lot of consistency, you know, and I think she shows a lot of people, you know, what consistency can produce if you continue that action daily. And yeah, there's a lot of inspiration in that. So yeah, really cool. Um, yeah, man. No, no negative emotions or feelings today at all. Just, just kind of going with the flow, which is pretty much what I have been doing. I don't know. But no negative emotions whatsoever. No anger. I will say, when I was making this video earlier that I did, there's a lot of passion that comes through, you know what I mean? And targeted aggression, but that's just because of the topic, that I'm speaking about. I'm pretty fucking passionate about, like a lot of this bullshit that was done it would send anyone into a fucking rage, so it's completely warranted and it's completely necessary. But I will say I channeled it correctly, I believe. I didn't take it too far, and that's the whole point. I think it's so important, in the future when I make these videos to never step in my ego, like that. Never step too much in my ego to where it becomes like egotism or egotistical at all. Of course, you're going to have that anger, that aggression come out, and that's okay. That's emotions. That's human emotions, and I'm a human being. So that's what's going to happen, but never taking it fucking too far, That's the goal. While at the same time presenting this information in a digestible way so people can fully kind of wrap their mind around all the bullshit that was done. Make it somewhat digestible. Little by little, I'll get there. But fuck, it's a lot. It's a lot. I think one of the important parts is, especially after, this string of videos where I go over the broader picture, is like the more detailed, more complex things that I need to go through is just to make sure that I hit everything up, hit every single talking point up, hit every single incident up with detailed information so that the viewer can really wrap their mind around it and really be like, wow, he knows a lot. You know what I mean? It's that irrefutable evidence that I'm going for. To fucking show people how detail-oriented I really am and how many of the details that I remember. And this has nothing to do with validation. This has everything to do with information and it going to the American population so things can truly fucking change. Because things need to change. I mean, I know that there are people out there that exist in this world that have watched me and can watch me on a fucking daily basis that would fully agree with me that shit needs to change, and it needs to change in a very drastic way, in a very drastic manner. And that's where it fucking starts. Through this creation. But again, I think the approach that I was taking today, or at least what I was contemplating, was, releasing, all these when I get done with them. And then in the meantime, maybe try to make a video a day or something like that of something of a more positive nature, because that's what I truly, want to do. I don't want to be harping on this other horse shit. So I'm going to think about it some more. I'm also going to play it by ear a little bit. And if something inspires me, if I hear something and I feel the need to talk about it or bring up create a video about a topic of conversation that interests me, I'm gonna do that instead, you know? I guess that's a good part about being a fucking free agent. Not having anybody control you. You can do whatever the fuck you want to do. I'm never gonna tell you what to talk about. It's funny because I know that there's pretty much nobody could see me, you know what I mean, on YouTube. I don't really give a fuck. Doesn't matter. Therapy session, bro. But yeah, I think that's about it. That's about all I have for this check-in. Enjoy the rest of these fucking pretzels.